Hey, welcome back. I'm Todd Smith with another video teaching you how to make money and achieve financial freedom with real estate investing. Over the years, I've been blessed to teach tens of thousands of investors from newbies to millionaires, so I know I can help you too. But before we get into today's topic, if you haven't done so already, I just want to remind you to check out my free 90-minute online training class about how to buy houses without cash or credit at realestateCashflowSecrets.com. I'll put that link and maybe some other resources in the description for this video. If you're watching this video on YouTube, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button below this video. And for some reason, YouTube made it harder. So after you hit subscribe, you got to hit the bell and then you got to hit all to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the money-making information that I have to share with you, because I do upload videos regularly. Fair enough? All right, let's get started. In this video, I'll deal with another question I get commonly asked, which is, do you buy foreclosures? So I've bought a ton of foreclosures, and I've bought properties at every single stage of foreclosure. I have bought properties where I bought them from banks, through realtors, REOs, they call them real estate owned, through banks. I bought a ton of those. And an REO, that's a property after it's been foreclosed on. So it's been foreclosed on, the bank's taking it back, and then they've listed with the realtors. So I bought a ton of those. I've bought properties on the way, basically pre-foreclosure, before the foreclosure auction. I bought properties from the owners directly in a pre-foreclosure fashion, and I've bought properties basically at every stage of foreclosure, before the auction and after the auction and at the auction. So I've done it all three ways. Now, but what people are often really asking me is, like, am I focusing on foreclosures? I don't chase foreclosures. So especially when I'm not dealing with realtors. Now I have marketed to people that were in foreclosure, but I don't really focus on that. I'd much rather have them contacting me. So when people are contacting me, a lot of times they're behind in their payments, right? So that is by definition a pre-foreclosure. They're behind in their payments and the bank has filed foreclosure on them, so they're contacting me. So I don't chase foreclosures. I rather have foreclosures chase me. So I put out my marketing out there. So I'm going to get people contacting me that are not in foreclosure and people that are in foreclosure. Okay. So my current marketing plans these days do not involve chasing people in foreclosure. That is you can make a whole business out of chasing people in foreclosure, but that's just not my preference. Now, you might say, well, why not, Todd? So one of the problems with people in foreclosure is they're behind in their payments, right? Oh, speaking of which, so another aspect of foreclosures is short sales, right? So I've also bought quite a few short sales. So where the people are behind in their payments and they owe more on the property than what the property is worth and what the bank thinks it's worth. So that means the bank is willing to sell the property to some other third party, not the people living in it. They're willing to sell it to some other third party for less than what the mortgage balance is. So let's say the mortgage balance is $200,000 and the property is only worth $150,000. Okay, that's the kind of stuff that happens when there's a market crash, like what happened back in 2008. All right, so there was a lot of people underwater with their houses, and banks just had so many foreclosures, and they knew they weren't going to recoup all that money, so they had to sell the properties for less than what the mortgage balances were. So anyway, that's just another aspect of foreclosure. So again, I don't chase any of these things. I'd much rather have these deals chase me. So now, getting back to why I don't chase foreclosures. The problem with foreclosures that I see, because in my style of real estate investing, I want to invest without what? I want to invest without cash, and I want to invest without credit. So one of the problems is with foreclosures is they're already behind in their payments. And after that market crash in 2008, you get a lot of times when banks have so many foreclosures, the market was flooded with foreclosures, that you end up with a situation where people might be a year behind, 2 years behind in their payments. So the fundamental problem with somebody who's in foreclosure is, in order to bring the loan current, they need cash, right? So if I want to take over those payments on that property, I need to come up with the cash to bring those payments current. Let's just say it's a $200,000 property, right? And let's just say, for the heck of it, to make the numbers really easy, the payments are $1,000 a month, okay? And let's say that they're 12 months behind. So that's $12,000 that they're behind that that's needed to bring that loan current, right? So I come up with the $12,000 to bring that loan current. Now, obviously, I'm not going to come up with the money myself. I'm going to find a buyer or tenant buyer that I'm going to sell that property to. So let's say on that $200,000 house, let's say that maybe I can collect $20,000 from my tenant buyer, and I'm going to, out of that $20,000, I'm going to use $12,000 of it to bring the loan current, right? And of course, you know, since I'm investing without cash or credit, I'm giving the seller $0, right? Instead of me making $20,000, because I'm giving the seller $0 for a down payment, and collecting $20,000 from my tenant buyer where I'd make 20 grand, now I got to give the bank $12,000 just to bring the loan current. So now I'm down, instead of me making $20,000 up front, I'm only making $8,000 up front. And obviously I would prefer to make the 20 than the 8. All right, so that's one of the reasons I don't chase foreclosures. Now, I could still do that deal, and I might still consider doing that deal if that deal came to me, right? Because what? I'm still going to make $8,000 on the front end, right? But again, my preference would be to focus on deals where I'm going to make on that, with those, given those same numbers, that same scenario, I'm going to make the $20,000 on the front end. So the reason that I don't chase foreclosures is because foreclosures need money. They need cash to bring the loan current, which is going to deplete my profits. That's why I don't do it. However, obviously you can see you can do that all day long. If you got 20,000 coming in and 12,000 going out, you're still 8,000 ahead. Okay, it's just that these days where I'm at in my investing, I just prefer not to chase those deals or focus on those deals. But either way you do it, I mean, and that's the beauty of real estate investing. It's such a profitable business that even if you don't do it as smart or as genius or as intelligent as somebody else, it's such a forgiving investment, you can still make money. Because there's really no wrong way to make a profit, right? As long as you're doing it legally, ethically, and morally. So it just depends. And as you graduate in your skill level, then you'll get more picky with your deals, as I have done. And maybe you won't, you know. So, but the bottom line is, either way you do it, if you follow the right principles and right strategies, you're going to make money and achieve the financial freedom that you desire. Now, the other thing is, what I really like to do is I like to get, because I'm putting my marketing out there, right? So like I said, I'm going to get people contacting me that are in foreclosure, people that are behind on their payments, people that are not behind on their payments. What I really like to do is I much prefer to deal with the people who are just about to be behind on their payments, right? So they're not even behind on their payments yet, and they're contacting me, hey Todd, I think I'm going to be behind on my payments if I don't get this house sold soon. That's what I want to hear, right? Because I can solve that problem. They're not behind on their payments, so I don't need any money to bring the loan current. So those will be good candidates for me to just take over their payments, right? So I can take over their payments without having to bring the loan current. That's the ultimate scenario that I'm looking for. So again, this answers the question, why don't chase foreclosures? I'd rather just put my marketing out there, have the different scenarios come to me, and then I can cherry pick and pick and choose which deals that I want to spend my time on. And I'm going to focus on the deals that require less cash and less credit, and preferably no cash and no credit. Hey, thanks again for watching, and don't forget to check out any additional resources that I might have for you in the description section of this video. If you like this video, then show me some love with a heart on Facebook or a thumbs up on YouTube, and leave a comment below to let me know how the video helped you. If you have any real estate investing questions, go ahead and write those in the comments below, and it just may become the topic of my next video. If you know anybody else that might benefit from this video, then go ahead and share it. Be sure to check out my upcoming videos, and until next time, may all your parents have rich children, and may all your children have rich parents.